Hello everyone, and welcome to Interview with Stephen Moore, fantasy author. If you'd like to welcome my guest in. Yay! I'm the only one clapping.
Of course, you're the only one here. Hello, everybody.
And thank you for agreeing to come on to my show.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, Dad. So basically we're going to kick this off, like I said, in the notepad section, if you're watching this live right now, with my dad's reading of one of his books.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Stephen Moore, I'm Peter's dad, and I'm a fantasy author. Write all kinds of fantasy. Sometimes it's magic and mayhem, like Spilling the Magic, this kind of thing, where you have flying pigs and castles in the air. I also do slightly more gritty, down-to-earth fantasy, the likes of Tooth and Claw, which I call my talking books. I call them my talking cat and dog stories. And sometimes it's magic realism. Today I want to read from Tooth and Claw, just because I do. I always think a good way of getting you in the mood is just to read the blurb that's on the back. So here we go. Tooth and Claw. Brenna licked frantically at her paws as the full weight of the awful truth began to settle on her shoulders. The whole of mankind had gone from the town. And yet, how could that be? Men were like the sun, the wind and the rain, always, always there. And if they were not there, then what? Abandoned in the depths of winter, the once pampered pets of men, the cats and the dogs, are left to their own fate, to fend for themselves. Can they survive the cruel weather? Most importantly, can they survive each other? And later, when the empty town reveals its darkest secret and the hunters become the hunted, it's kill or be killed. To survive, the animals must unite in the most desperate fight of their lives. I'm going to jump into an action scene now. Unlucky for some, it's chapter 13. Imagine you've got a few cats. They're desperate, they're hungry. It's the middle of the winter, it's been snowing, and they've found shelter in the middle of an old rubbish tip, and they're inside an iron drum. Well, and things are just about to get worse. It's raining, Brenna. Hurry, wake up, it's raining. Treacle's mew was desperate. Wake up, will you? He nipped and tugged at Brenna's fur with his teeth. Ah! What rain! Brenna opened one eye and thrust it accusingly at the kid. She'd been in the middle of another dream. Only this time it had been a dream of home and Mrs. Ida Tubbs. There'd been warm firesides, soft sofas and long cat naps. And there'd been food. There'd been lots of food. Any time she mewed for it. You've woken me up to tell me about rain. Her claws scratched at the rusted iron of the oil drum, making it vibrate. The whole lodge seemed to shake with her annoyance. Why won't you ever let me sleep? She wanted to spit curses at him, to cuff him about the ears, but she didn't. Treacle's eyes were wide open with terror. There's too much of it, he said, his voice thin and scared. Too much? What do you mean? She began to sit up. If it's really raining, then it'll wash away all this snow and there'll be no more winter. No, you don't understand. It's raining too much. There's been too much snow, and now that there's too much rain with too much water. It's already taken Lodger. Taken Lodger? But yes, he wasn't quick enough. It picked him right up off his paws and ran away with him. Oh, come and see. He tugged at her fur again, let go, and darted outside. Oh, all right, I'm coming. But if this is another silly game, Brynner stretched, stood up slowly and sulkily, and followed him outside. The rain was falling hard and cold and very fast. Great twisting black sheets of water curled menacingly across the late afternoon sky. It caught in her fur, instantly making tats of it, leaving her looking as if some animal had chewed her up in its mouth. On the ground, the deep snowdrifts were dissolving around her, almost as she watched. "See? See?" Treacle cried, running to the very edge of the riverbank. "There's too much water, too much." The hiss and roar of rain and river carried his voice away. And then, as Brynner tried to make sense of it all, there was water coming up as well as coming down. The river came scrambling over its banks, rushing greedily towards the rubbish tip, and Treacle was screaming and flailing about upon his back. An instant later, Brynner wasn't standing up anymore. Instead, she was spinning around and around, and the rain-swept air was suddenly very thick and heavy. It gurgled and rippled and bulged with dirt-grey muscles that turned her over and over again in its massive arms. It paralysed her, like a kit picked up in its mother's mouth, tossed her, dragged her, pushed her mercilessly wherever it liked, and worse, it smothered her, filled her nose and mouth, and stole away her breath, wrapped her up tight in its solid, deathly coldness. The water suddenly threw her upwards, and for one brief moment she was floating on its surface. There, in front of her, was Treacle, or at least something that looked like it had once been Treacle. But then it wasn't Treacle, only the iron drum, their lodge, bobbing madly about. It turned over, belching out great mouthfuls of air, as if it was breathing its last breath, and then it sank. Brynner was pulled down again, deep into the water, thrown forwards, turned over, thrown forwards again. She felt her body catapulted against some hard object, felt the stabs of pain as it struck out, like the claws of some terrible, unseen enemy, cutting her, tearing her, breaking her. Then she was pushed forwards again, and inseparable now, her enemy moved with her, lifted and dashed, pulled, pushed, turned over again, and never a breath, never, never, never a breath. Drowning, drowning. It was still raining. Brynner could sense the drops of water patter-patting upon the ground around her. It was lighter rain now, almost soothing, and not cold exactly. She was too numb to feel cold. Inside her ears, inside her eyes, inside her nose and mouth, there was the river. Its taste, its smell, its terror, they all lingered and reminded. She tried to make some sense out of what had happened, but could find no sense in it. She felt the urge to run away from the river, but no. Why should she run? She did not want to run, not ever again. Did not want to move, did not want to know at all. When she woke the second time, it had stopped raining. She was still blinded and deafened, but she felt the coldness now, and it hurt. She hurt, and the coldness and the hurt were everything. If she did not move now, she would never move again. And on that cliffhanger, I'm going to leave it right there.
Okay. Fair enough. Alright, well, it seems we've still got... If I can just have a look. Ooh, I don't know. Okay, well, tell you what, guys, I'm gonna end this part here, and I'll see you in roughly around 20 to 10 seconds time for the Q&A. So, get your stuff, your computers ready so that you can tag along with me and you can ask questions as we keep going. So I'll see you in a few seconds. Bye bye.